Hey everybody, Ellen Juddy here, um, bringing you the second section of our second webinar in this season for the PLC for High School Dance. Today I am talking about student collaboration on curriculum. In our last segment, we talked about facilitating in the dance classroom and what that might look like as opposed to teaching. I asked you as teachers to reflect on how you teach. Have you brought traditions down from when you were in the dance classroom from your teachers? Have you brought some harmful traditions down? Have you kept all of the positive stuff throughout all the negative stuff? So just ask you to reflect on that. So hopefully you did a little bit of a self-reflection on how you are teaching. So for this segment, I want to look at how do we actually collaborate with students about what happens in our dance classrooms. So let's take a look at this. So I think the best way to actually start this conversation with your students is to ask just 3 questions. We're asking what, how, and why. What dance styles and technique are they interested in learning? How they learn. Do they know how they learn in their other classes? Can they articulate that in your class? And then why? Why are they taking dance? What are the reasons they are taking dance? Why are we doing what we're doing in dance? So I think this could be as simple as a class discussion, or we can make this into a whole lesson plan, which I have done, and that will be in the 3rd segment that I'll go into that. But I think we need to ask them to define and break down what, how, and why. So, what? Your dance genres and styles. I know that we have our own agenda as teachers, and I'm guessing that most of us have been brought up in the schools of ballet, modern, and jazz. But there are so many other styles of dance. So I think that we need to have input from our students on this. So we still need to stay within the GSE, right? We still need to be teaching the standards that Georgia has laid out for us. But they're actually fairly wide open standards. So I picked this first one that would be, the technique would be under identify and demonstrate movement elements, skills, and terminology in dance, because that's what we're talking about when we're teaching technique. And this one, execute an introductory level technique-based warm-up such as ballet, modern, jazz, tap, and world dance related to strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. So that such as gives us a little opening to do more things than just ballet, modern, and jazz. The world dance is thrown in there. But I would imagine as long as you are doing dance that is related to strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility, I don't know, is there a dance that isn't? Then you are within the GSE and good to go. So right there's an opening for you to do all kinds of different dances. And be more culturally responsive to your students or who you have in your classrooms. So that's the what. The how, so I just threw this up there, the Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. So talking to your students about what learning methods work best for them would be another way to begin the facilitation process in your class. So right away, we know that dance covers most of these 8 multiple intelligences. However, the way we teach our technique classes may not lend itself to the interpersonal ways of learning. So working with partners or small groups, in our traditional technique class, we tend not to do that. Now, I'm sure you're doing some of that, but just opening up our minds and the way we do our traditional technique classes is going to be important if we're going to try to include our students in this curriculum and in the facilitation process rather than the teacher as all-knowing and they don't know anything. Again, this could be a class discussion to see what learning methods the class as a whole generally tends to lean to. You could do this as an independent survey. I do a lot of surveys in the beginning of the year for the kids just so I get to know them. So this could be a survey. It could be, you could ask them how to, or to reflect on how they learn best in their other classes to try to help them figure out how they learn best in your class. And then, using this data, of course, is going to inform your teaching and will allow you to really differentiate within a class, even though dance in itself is differentiated all the time. And when we do all of these things all the time as we're teaching. So, okay, that's the how. Reasons for dance class. So this question might not be straightforward. As I was creating this webinar, I was thinking the students might not be able to answer this one so easily. So I know I'm aware that some of your students, if we're talking across the state, might indeed not have decided to take dance. They might have been just sort of dumped in your class, which I hate that. I'm lucky here at my school. They don't tend to do that, so I don't have too many kids who are in here that absolutely don't want to be. But if that's the case and you have kids that are dumped in your class and you're asking them why they take dance, it's going to be maybe an awkward answer. So I guess in that case, I might try to get those students to open up and give you one or two things that they actually enjoy about the class. Do they like stretches? Do they like a center floor activity? Do they like going across the floor? So different things in that way to break that question down of why you're taking dance into even more digestible pieces for kids who might not really want to be in your class, but are there anyway. So again, this could be another class discussion. You could do a reflective writing, get that writing piece in there, or another Google survey. You could even add this if you do surveys or questioning at the beginning of the year to get to know them. This could even be added into like a goal. What is your goal for the year? Do you have a small goal or an overarching goal? And you could ask them the reasons they take dance. So once you and your dancers have done the what, the how, and the why activities, however you decide to do that, then you can take time to make a schedule, a calendar and a schedule. There's many, many options on how to do this. Remember, we're trying to break out of the old habits that might be harmful when we're teaching technique, and we're trying to reimagine the dance classroom. So you can get really creative as you plan. So I would just say make sure you are actually listening to your students. So, and it's an exchange, of course. They're listening to you, you're listening to them. They need to listen to you as well because, again, you have an agenda as well, but both of your agendas should almost mirror each other because that would be our goal, our end goal. So in this way, you and your students can learn and teach together. You can exchange ideas and make connections, and the list goes on and on of what this can do. So hopefully this section and this segment, got your mind rolling with ideas on how to do curriculum collaboration with your students in whatever way can work best for you. Now, I know when I talk about trying to do other dances besides ballet, modern, and jazz, you may not have been trained in other dances as well. So there's, lots to think about there, whether you are able to bring guest artists in who are experts in a particular type of dance that you are not qualified to, really teach properly. You can use your students, and that's what happened with me this semester. I had a girl from Liberia. She did some of Liberian dance mixed in with her hip hop. We had a couple different Bollywood dances that were student choreographed because those students study Bollywood outside of my classroom. So there's many ways that you can get those other dances and other types of dance in your classroom without you having to become, this expert at every single thing, which I know is not even feasible. So in the next segment, what I'll do is we'll go through 2 different lessons that I've written, and just thinking in different ways of how to teach dance. All right, I will see you next time. Thank you.